presented by Reach Out Together, a social organization dedicated to helping people maintain good mental health. My name is Aanchal, the host of today's Sit Down Talk series with interesting and influential people promoting mental health recovery. In today's episode, we have Mimi Bauer, a side hustle coach, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and a morning person. She spends her time empowering people from all around the world to pursue their true calling by building their own side hustle. Today, we're going to get personal. We're going to share some stories, lessons learned, and talk about recovery. So why don't we start with a brief introduction about yourself, Mimi, your profession, and the journey that brought you here today?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this warm intro. So I'm Mimi and I'm a side hustle coach. That means that I help a lot of people that are unfulfilled, that something is missing in their lives and they're in corporate or doing any type of work and they want to start something, but they feel overwhelmed and they have no clue how to start it. So I've done this journey of side hustling for 2 years now before going full-time on my business. And so I went through all of the ups and downs and the pressure of wanting to build something that feels meaningful to me. And I want to help just more people finally find this thing that will set their soul on fire. So this is what I do with my coaching clients. And my business is called Happy on Mondays because this is my life mission. I want to ensure everyone out there is happy, even on Monday mornings.
That's beautiful. How long has it been since you started this initiative?
So I started that in 2017. So 2 years of side hustling, and I just went all in my business. I think it was end of March now. So a little more than a month, but I've been side hustling for 2 years before going all in with the business. It's been such a beautiful journey of just getting to know myself while I was just discovering entrepreneurship and really changing my mindset from employee to entrepreneur.
Wow. So when it comes to mental health, Mimi, what does maintaining positive mental health mean to you?
This is such an important topic. And I think maintaining a positive mental health is so different from person to person. But I think the key is really understanding what works for you, right? And so there's no such thing as a one size fits all approach. It's all about understanding what is your right balance. How can you maintain this balance in your life so that you always feel completely in control of your emotions and you're not dipping too low in the negativity. So for me, it's all about mornings. I shared that I'm a morning person, but it's super important for me to exercise in the morning. This is what gets my mind in the right spot right when I wake up. And I also practice a lot of positive self-talk and affirmations to really put myself in the right mindset so that throughout my day, I'm serving my clients, I'm coaching powerfully, and I keep this energy up and this positive kind of mindset up all day.
Amazing. If you don't mind me asking, Mimi, we're going to get a little personal here. You can share that with our viewers and hopefully empower them as well to reach out or seek help. Have you experienced any mental health challenge? And if you did, how would you describe what it's like?
So I certainly did. I wouldn't say it was like diagnosed or anything like that yet. When I transitioned from employee to entrepreneur and all this journey throughout the 2 years that I've been building my business, it's been extremely hard balancing a full-time job while having big dreams of building a business and being able to go full-time on it. So I'd say that there was a couple of times, specifically last summer, when I felt extremely drained, extremely tired. And it was like really based on the pressure I was putting on myself to succeed and the feeling of like restlessness, just knowing that I was constantly constantly running around, constantly working, and I was overworked really, and this was affecting my mental health for sure. And so I'm sad to say that last summer I kind of didn't see it at all. I was just working nonstop, and I didn't really feel like myself. At one point, I was actually working at a startup, and I was the HR head of HR there, but I was working really closely with the founders, and those guys were kind of going through similar situation where they were overworking. They had a lot of pressure on their shoulders, which affected their mood, which affected the way they were treating themselves and taking care of themselves. And so I'd say that men or women similar, but it depends of like where you're at in your life, probably. And so, for example, and yeah, I can share that, but my uncle, I just spent the night last night with him. He's turning 84. So he's in the like senior years, and he shared that he's been feeling really lonely all his life. And so that's another form of mental health, or kind of like having a hard time kind of like feeling supported, and this affected his mental health as well. So because I see like those different situations, I can say that maybe it is different depending on where you're at, if you're at school, if you're working, if you're, you know, older, and you kind of get lonely sometimes. It's a very different situations, but it can all affect your mental health and how you feel about yourself and how your energy level and all those things.
Absolutely. And especially when it comes to entrepreneurship and, you know, starting new initiatives, it does take a toll on it does take a toll on people. But at the same time, now that we know that and we're aware of that, what strategies or resources do you have set in place for yourself when those moments do occur, when you start to feel like something is arising, or you know you're just not in the right space? What do you do to overcome that?
Really good question. So now that I've understood the importance of maintaining a great mindset, because I know now it affects my business. If I'm not in the right headspace, it's gonna screw up everything, all my day. So because of that, the first thing I do is every single day I set myself up for success. So I do a morning routine every single day. Like whether or not it's the weekend, whatever, I always do it. So it's a moment where, and I have like a few steps in it, but it's a moment where I meditate, I visualize what my day will look like, I write, I journal a lot to let out like all the negative emotions and anything that's kind of like already in my head when I wake up in the morning. I throw it on paper. I do affirmations, and I just plan out my day, so it's way more digestible. It's way clearer what I need to do today to make this day a successful day. So I've been starting to wake up, and every morning what I tell myself first thing is today's going to be amazing. Today's going to be amazing. I've got this. I'm powerful. Everything's going to be awesome. And then I start my day, do my morning routine, and I just set myself up for success every single day. And this is key. It has been key for my success and how I see things and how I feel every single day. The other thing is, at some point, I think it was like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, just before I went all in my business, there was this moment where I felt really overwhelmed. I was very much attached to the outcomes. I was looking to grow my income and grow the number of clients I was working with to be able to do the jump finally. And it was putting like a lot of stress on my shoulders, and I got a bit stuck. I got a bit like stuck in a negative headspace, and I was working with my coach at the time, and he told me, he's like, Mimi, I think you're ready for a little reset. And I haven't been really good with like taking a day off on the weekends and being kind of like really disciplined with that. So he told me, he's like, I feel like you're in a really negative mindset. And I'm like, I think you're right. And so what I did during that weekend, I spent 2 days completely off internet, off my computer, off everything I had. And I journaled, and he gave me some prompts, some things to think about. And I just like let it all out on paper. I spent probably 4 or 5 hours just writing it out. And it was such a great like therapy to just like reset my mood and say and really make sure that I understood why was I feeling like that? Why was I so overwhelmed? And I realized that I kind of lost touch with my essence. So when I go super into a stressful period, it's like I disconnect from who I am really, and I don't allow myself to just be who I am, happy, bubbly, caring, loving person. And it's like I'm such in a rush and in a stressful period that I forget to just be me. Everything I was holding on to, it wasn't working because I wasn't in the right headspace. I wasn't my best self, so it couldn't come to me. So doing this reset, sometimes when you really feel like you need a major reset, just take it, like take days off, just disconnect and reset yourself to just be your best self after.
I understand that it's very hard to voice certain issues like that. It takes a lot of courage. So I really want to thank you for sharing with our viewers. What would you say when it comes to consistency, right? How or what recommendations would you give people to stay consistent in order to make that change? And what I mean by that is, for example, when we hear a joke, our immediate response is to laugh or to smile. When we hear something exciting and exciting news that our friends tell us about themselves and a personal accomplishment, most likely some people will be happy for them. That's an immediate response, right? So sometimes when, anxiety is emerging and we're starting to feel like something is coming up, what is that, like that immediate response that you would take on to get out of that space, right? And how would you, or what tools would you tell people and give people to stay consistent so it becomes an automatic response?
So I feel like in my life, when I get this sense of anxiety or something comes up, it's usually fear-based. So it's usually like a thought I have about myself, or a negative belief I have about myself or my situation or whatever is going on in my life. So let's say, I don't know, let's say I'm on a call with a client and I'm like, oh my God, like I think my client doesn't get me or whatever. It's a negative thought that triggers this negative emotion, this feeling of stress. And what I've been really into these days is NLP and this whole world of neurolinguistic programming, which is all in like what our brain is telling us. It's kind of everything is related to our thoughts. So if you have a thought that is negative, then ultimately you're going to act. It's kind of a command that your brain is understanding. So you'll act as this negative command. So you'll feel like shit, you'll feel awful. If you tell yourself you're awful, you're going to feel awful. It makes sense, right? So right now, what I do, every time I have like a fearful thought or something that is like negative, I push it away. So I literally like with my hand, I do this and I replace the thought with something really, really positive. So let's say I am with a client on a call and I have this thought, oh my God, like I'm not good enough. He's never going to want to sign with me or something like that. I release and I say to myself, like in my mind, I say, no, I'm amazing. He's going to love my energy. Everything's good. And you always have to replace this belief until the positive one becomes your real belief. So it's always based on your thoughts. So if you, at any moment in time, you have a negative self-talk, you absolutely need to replace that right away so that your brains understand that, like, no, like we're getting rid of that and we're moving forward with a positive one. So I'd say that it's really about being self-aware and not getting stuck in self-sabotaging, because ultimately that's what happens. It's all in our thoughts. It's all in the way we talk to ourselves. And that's why I also start my days telling myself beautiful stories about myself. Instead of like drawing a really negative one, I draw the positive story of my day. And so that sets my moon in the right headspace. And then as the day goes by, if anything negative comes in, I flush it away. I just push it away and I replace with a positive one.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. What would you say to somebody, Mimi, who is suffering today, who was a person who was perhaps in the same shoes as you were at one point, and you reached out for help, right? But quite often stigma prevents people from reaching out. Quite often people believe I can fix it myself, or they'll push it off, I'll do it later. So what would you say to somebody who is suffering today?
I'd say the first thing is to be patient with yourself and just like take the moment to acknowledge how you're feeling. So it's like you gotta be self-aware enough to say, okay, I'm really not feeling good right now. So at least you're honest with yourself and you take that little tiny step back. And I'd say that honestly, communicating with someone is key. Like for me, it has been like tremendous. I'm like always talking to my husband. I have friends supporting, family supporting. And ultimately, what you gotta know when you're in that state of mind right now, if you are right now feeling like that, there's a lot of people feeling the same way right now. You're not alone. Like, you're not this weird person having those thoughts. Everyone has those eventually in their life. Maybe right now they're feeling it as well. So don't feel as if you're weird or different or like there's a problem with you. No, everyone has those thoughts. So you are not alone. Be patient with yourself, be loving to yourself, and realize that this is a journey. And if you're going through a negative, like a really dark space right now, there's brighter days to come. So it's not forever. And just be patient with yourself. And please reach out to anyone, because I can guarantee you there's someone in your tiny circle that feels the same type of emotions right now, and you can share that and really be helpful to each other.
Amazing. Thank you. So where can our viewers reach out to you? Is there a particular email, a website that they can go and visit you at?
Absolutely. So my website is called happyonmondays.com, and my Instagram handle is mimi.boyer, Boyer. So you can just go ahead, DM me, follow me, whatever. I'm also really big on LinkedIn. So I don't know if you guys are on LinkedIn, but Mimi and Mimi Boyer, Mimi Boyer. And this is where I post daily videos, inspirational videos. I dance on LinkedIn. I do all those things. So if you need kind of a positive start to your day, I'm there every morning throwing confetti at people. So follow me there as well.
I love it. On that note, and a very good note, we thank you, Mimi, for your time and sharing with us to empower more people. Today was a terrific discussion with some terrific insights. If you find this conversation relatable or found value in this, please share this across social media. Tell us the difference this talk is making in your life. I can't wait to share the next episode with all of you. Thank you once again, Mimi, and it's been a pleasure. Continue to reach out together to maintain good mental health, guys.
Thank you. Same here. Really happy. Thanks for reaching out and having me. It's really a beautiful mission that you have.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure.